Hi, Leo. This is your reading for the time period of September 1st to October 31st, 2021. For those of you who are new to my channel or you're visiting, welcome to Amani's Lightwork, aka The Lightwork, okay? So, before I begin, I just want to say, or at least advise you, that all of these readings are based on channeling and interpretation. That implies that I'm using my ability of clairvoyance and basically what I receive from spirit, and then I'm interpreting, okay? Everything is based in interpretation. If you feel you need more clarification into your specific situation, you can always send me a direct message to my Instagram at AmaniIfe777 or email ivakasha108@gmail.com. Okay? Alright, so let's see what you have in store. This, like I said, this is a bi-monthly reading, sun sign only, okay? And I'll be doing the same thing for November and December of this year. I get a business idea, and I also get this idea of tax deductible donations for you, Leo. Okay, so tax deductible donations through a business that you run. You could even be getting some insight from someone external that may be in the same boat as you. That individual or that institution, that business, that organization may receive tax deductible donations. It just depends on what's going on. I do get the idea of Zelle, like using Zelle or like PayPal or I don't know, Cash App, things of that nature. Those are maybe things that you use. I also get the idea of performance criteria. Performance criteria may be important for you as well too. Performance criteria. All right, but let's see what's going on. Alright, Leo, so the card you have underneath is the Wheel of Fortune. I need a Libra, so something's going on specifically with a Libra with a Wheel of Fortune. Libra meaning they could be a love partner to you, they could be a business partner. They receive some type of donation for something, or they may receive tax deductible donations, or they receive money through Zelle, they receive like from wherever, like an organization. Like they may be, they could be a freelancer that you're considering partnering with. Or I also get a school, so you may work with a school, you may have your own school or some type of institution, or something's going on with partnering with another institution external from something that you're doing, like partnering with a college. I keep getting tax deductible. Partnering with a college, that could be where you get your tax deductible donations from, like a school, like a college, like Amherst University or Wesleyan and Rutgers and NYU. I'm just giving examples of schools of secondary education where if you run a business, especially if it's education driven and you're catering to the community, you can partner with a school or some type of institute of secondary education, and you can file taxes. You can file taxes through that way, but the only way you'll be able to file taxes would be like if you actually receive donations through that school, or if you receive some type of funding through that school. So whatever kind of work you're doing, it may not even be education related, you want to receive, if you receive funding from whatever organization. I mean, I would think that it would have to relate to what the goal that you have, the organization that you're looking to fund you, or the way you're looking for your funding. I would deem it to be relative to something that you're working on. So, for example, what you need to keep an eye out will be for the taxes, because if you're being funded by an organization external from yours, you want to make sure that you can file taxes. You can file taxes along with that, whatever that organization gives you, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to explain it as carefully as possible. I'm trying to understand the logistics that you're taking yourself through in terms of this procedure. So, it does have to do with tax deductible donations, or just donations and funding period from an organization. So even if you're not necessarily in an organization, or you run your own business, if that's not only the case, then you just need some type of funding period. But it's important that you keep an eye out for the taxes in terms of that funding. So, for example, if I run an organization, and I want an external organization to partner with me, and I want to file taxes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that organization on my taxes. Or that organization is 10 times out of 10 they're going to file my business, or they're going to file my firm underneath theirs, or they're going to file it alongside theirs. So it just depends on what's going on. So taxes are really important. Distributing taxes are also really important. How you distribute taxes is important, or how an organization external from you does, or a workplace or a firm. The Empress energy is here, sign of Aries. I did say Libra. You got a Libra here. You have an Empress, an Aries element that's here. That doesn't only have to be the signs. You could be embodying this, or it's just a motherly figure external from you. Okay. Their energy is here because I get fingerprints with them. They may need fingerprints, or they may need to get fingerprints done. So fingerprints, like if this is education related, if it has anything to do with teaching and certification, this element needs to have their fingerprints done, or the fingerprints need to be processed in order for them to work for you, or in order for them to work with you. It just depends on the energy that is coming through. You also need their documentation and things of that nature. If it's not you necessarily running a business, or like you could just be in a firm with this individual, I don't know what they're doing. So being in a firm with this individual, they don't know what they're doing. However you want to look at that, not knowing what they're doing, that's why this energy is underneath. That's why the Wheel of Fortune energy is underneath. So I'll give you a perfect example. If you are in a firm and you work with this individual, they may have been contracted to work somewhere with you. They may be fingerprinted. They may have their background checked. They may have a nice clean record. But sometimes I get education. Something is going on with their education. Like the amount of knowledge that they obtained over the years in order to work in the firm with you, or to do some type of work with you. Something's going on with their knowledge. I think it needs refining. So knowledge of certain things, their knowledge of certain things needs to be refined. It can have something to do with taxes. I get teaching. It has something to do with taxes. It also has something to do with teaching, or how they teach something needs to be refined. Right? You could be embodying this. How you teach something, or how you explain something to people needs to be refined. Or information about taxes, information about general criteria. I did get the idea of performance criteria from the beginning. Something could be going on with their performance, or their performance criteria. It just depends on what's going on. But taxes, if they do work, I don't want to let go. If you don't want to let go of them necessarily, something is going on with quality. Something is going on with their quality of being a co-worker, their quality of partnership that you are in with them. They're lacking knowledge in an area, like they're lacking financial knowledge, they're lacking financial literacy, knowledge about financial literacy, they're lacking some type of teaching skill. But what's happening, like they have all their jewels in a basket, but they still need something that they're doing with you needs to be refined. So it just depends. Or they could be explaining to you that you need, I get passport. Someone's going on with their passport, or you may need their passport for some type of like passport meaning identification. Like they may not have a state ID or city ID yet, or they don't have it at all. So they're trying to explain to you, I have my passport, I could use my passport for this, that, and the third. That could be something that you're explaining for them, but not enough. So as I'm talking about it, you're trying to explain to them vice versa, your passport isn't going to be enough for me to process your documentation at this firm, for you to process this documentation with your own personal job, that somehow you're having them on board doing something with you. Your knowledge of this topic is not refined enough for me to have you on board in this institution. Whatever it is you're saying to them, or this business, like you don't have the skills. Your skills need to be refined. So that's their voice to you, that's your voice to them, okay? The Three of Sorrow energy is here. So the Three of Swords would be like letting somebody go. It could also be air sign. Like I said, like Libra, things of that nature, or Aquarian, Gemini energy. That's what the Three of Swords brings in, that element as well. Or it's Three of Swords with the Empress. But I get criteria. It's Three of Swords with the Empress because something's going on with their criteria. Like their performance criteria, their criteria as a teacher, as an educator, as their quality, like their work ethic. Something's going on with their criteria, like their criterion. Like it could be something that they created. It could be something that like a document that they worked on, not refined. A document that they actually worked on is not refined, or it needs to be refined. Three of Swords, it needs to be refined, right? But it involves your pay. So the Three of Swords energy, like a document needing to be refined by this individual, it involves your pay, it involves their pay. So something, clarification, something that needs to be better clarified on their end in terms of like you're giving them a document to create, or they need to, their documentation, they need to incorporate their documentation to a full file of other people's documentation, or it's related to taxes and funding and criteria, performance criteria, etc. I don't have it together. As I'm running through that, they don't have some type of paperwork or document. They don't have it together. They don't have it together, like either it's together and it's not done properly, or they don't have it together at all. That's why I was getting an idea of passport and needing to use a passport. You're trying to tell them that's not enough. I need your state ID. I need your state or your city ID. This isn't enough for me to process your existence in this firm. I don't know if this person is saying this to you. Three of Swords energy, but I gave you everything. Three of Swords, you're telling them I gave you all my documentation. How are you missing? I get critical. As I'm talking about this, if you are having this kind of conversation with this individual, they're going to eventually tell you, okay, you're missing this, that, and the third. You don't have this, that, and the third identification. You're trying to tell me that you're trying to give me your passport for this processing and this procedure. I can't take this, right? I get stole. So as I'm talking about it, they stole something from you, or you could already be aware. Like it may not be known that, okay, you may not know that they took something from you, or they don't know you took something from them, but something's going on with some type of document processing that you need from them, they need from you. They are telling you, I cannot process like from the last reading, I cannot legitimize your existence or your institution. I can't legitimize this firm, this business without your ID or without your documentation. But I get this idea of copies. So they may have made copies, or you made copies of something that belongs to them, vice versa. It just depends on what's going on. Someone may also not want to give you something specific, like I was getting from the last reading. If it's a Libra, if it's an Aries, I don't know if you don't want to give that person something specific. So this depends on the energy that's coming through. But I get deceive. So you could be deceiving this person, or they're deceiving you. but it has something to do with taxes. Them being able to file. It has to do with them being able to file. It has to do with you being able to file. Like, there's a tax document, like from the last reading, there's a tax document that they're missing. There's on their own end, their personal end, but they're intertwined with you. So henceforth, they're going to miss out on some type of tax return. Or you have some type of tax document, intentionally missing. Like, it's intentionally missing. The Empress can be responsible for why it's intentionally missing. But I get this idea of pay attention. So the Three of Swords, you need to pay attention to her moves. Or she needs to pay attention to yours. It just depends. But I get makes copies. So paying attention to each other's moves, it has to do with her making copies of your things. It has to do with you making copies of her things. So making copies will mean that the official copy of your birth certificate, the official document, like your official ID, your official social, or yours or theirs, is missing. The Spirit said it's missing. The Spirit said it's missing. Or somebody could potentially lose it. Someone could potentially lose it, but if you don't pay attention to them. So someone could potentially lose it if you don't pay attention to her. She could potentially lose it. If she doesn't pay attention to you, if she doesn't pay attention to you, you could potentially lose it. It just depends on what's going on. And paying attention to someone doesn't only have to be documentation and paperwork and identifications and cards and signatures and taxes. And it's not only that, paying attention to somebody. Like, paying attention, lose it. Like, you're going to go crazy if somebody isn't paying attention to you. But the reason for it is because somebody has your things for processing. For example, the Empress energy may be responsible, like they may be the head of an external organization that you want to partner with, right? But it doesn't take seriously. So I don't know if you don't take that person seriously, they don't take you seriously. So what's happening is that they may not be forthcoming with what they necessarily need from you, vice versa. Are you not forthcoming with this person? Do they not take you seriously with what you're trying to do? There's that. The Three of Swords, they're processing it in their mind like that this guy, this female, she's not, they're not really serious. I don't think this is, I get for play. Somebody thinks you're doing something for play, like for activity, like after school, like for play. So you go into someone and say, I need to file this paperwork for my business to legitimize my situation here. Can you help me through this procedure? But I get rolling eyes. So when I said that, they could be rolling their eyes, vice versa, at you. They're not really, someone isn't really for you like that. Like, someone isn't really for you like that. And it could be love related. Someone isn't really for you like that, vice versa. Or it's business tied, it's business related. Someone isn't really for you. Are you not really for someone? Are you not really for someone? The present has the Hierophant. So we're dealing with a Taurus guy and possibly a Taurus male energy there. Right? But it's seeking something from, like you could be seeking, seeking inspiration from, seeking knowledge of something from somebody, like seeking knowledge of them. But I get an assistant. They could be your assistant. They could be an assistant to the Empress. Three of Swords, they're an assistant to the Empress. You may not know they're an assistant, or I get a friend. You may not know they're a friend to the Empress. The Empress may not know they're an assistant or a friend to you, if it's not family. Assistant, if it's family, yeah. Somebody may not know. You may be telling the Empress you don't talk to a Taurus. They don't believe you. Three of Swords, they don't believe you. Or the Empress may be telling you they don't talk or deal with a Taurus. And that's Three of Swords. That's not true. It just depends on what's going on. But as I said that, it has to do with documentation. It has to do with documentation. Like, I get sharing it with. You could be sharing it with a Hierophant. Hierophant sharing it with Empress. You sharing it with Empress giving it to Hierophant. You may not want it to get to the Hierophant. Or you share it with Hierophant and they give it to the Empress. Three of Swords. For some reason, Three of Swords is there because there's someone in your space that I understand. there's someone that you're dealing with business-wise, love-wise, that, or it's intertwined somehow, that you really don't want them to have, or they really don't want you to have some status. It has to do with some type of status. Like from the last reading, legitimizing your existence in a firm or in a business, legitimizing your existence in a construct or like some type of business environment. Like it has to do with that. Like someone doesn't want you to experience that for some reason. Or do you not want someone to experience that? So what's happening is that the Taurus, I got a scapegoat. The Taurus is like a scapegoat to that. The Taurus is a scapegoat to that. You understand? They're a scapegoat to that. You know? So what's happening is that the Taurus sides with you, Three of Swords. The Taurus also sides with the Empress. Like this person is a medium for what is happening in an organization between people, and especially if documentation is involved. Legitimizing somebody's existence in a firm or an organization, not wanting you to have some type of documentation, right? But going to share that with you. So I'm looking at the Hierophant. They're going to share that with you. Like someone, like for some reason, you may not know the truth behind for some reason you don't know the truth behind why the Empress is making the choice that she's making, why she's moving like that with you, or they don't know the truth into why you're moving the way you are with them, if you're moving with them in a really interesting way, vice versa. Like this person's going to dish on you what is really going on. They're going to dish on you. They're possibly going to also give you an alternative. They're going to give you some type of alternative. You know, lawyers may have something to do with this. Getting lawyers involved. You may need to have a lawyer involved. Like I'm looking at them, and they look like somebody in court. Like this may be it may get to the point where you need to present documentation in court. You need to present something, but it has to do with legitimizing a situation. Like I said from the last reading, it has to do with that still. It has to do with that still, something that you're doing. It's a relationship, it's a marriage, it's what's another situation? A relationship, a marriage, a partnership, a business, a firm. Something isn't legitimate there, and the Three of Swords, you're thinking that it 100% it is. Like it could even be a divorce that someone is telling you is final. It's not really final. That could be divorcing a job, divorcing a person. Something isn't finished there, but your mindset is you don't know that it's not. They don't know that it's not. So it just depends on what's going on. That's why I said, I need your identification. They need yours. Somebody is reluctant to give the other the identification and the documentation. You need a documentation to process a divorce. Somebody's trying to give copies. They're not trying to give official copies of things. Like it matters. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it just depends on what is going on. The Queen of Wands is in the future, public defender, like I said, lawyers and things of that nature. You know what's coming to mind? When I did Cancer's reading, I was getting that there's this system that whether they're online documents or in-person documents, there's a system that documents go through that will pick up fingerprints. I was getting that in Cancer's reading, so that may be something that you want to pay attention to. And then there's also a lot of people for some reason don't know that documents, whether hard copy documents, go through a system. Once you fill it out, it goes through a machine or a system that will pick up whether somebody's I get talking about a falsity. So as I'm talking about it, there's this element of a falsity that you either manipulated, or an Empress energy, or a Hierophant. Okay, I was getting the Hierophant was trying to help you, so they could have forged something onto a document for you. Oh, I see what's going on here. I see what's happening. The Hierophant, if they're like a helper. The Hierophant is a helper. They're either trying to tell you what, they're trying to give you some insight into what you can do if the Empress isn't fully 100% with your existence somewhere, or you being gone, or you being somewhere with them. It just depends on what's going on. So the Hierophant is stepping in and they're saying, I know where you can take this, that, and the third document to, so that you can forge her signature to legitimize your situation, so you can receive the taxes and tax deductible donations that you need to, I am deserving. You are deserving of it. Someone is trying to tell you to take it elsewhere. Someone is helping you. Her assistant, her friend, her family member is trying to tell you. Her partner is trying to tell you, take it elsewhere. I know where you can take it to. I'm going to do this for you elsewhere so that you can get your shit legitimized. Whatever it is, you get the marriage legitimized. Get the business legitimized. Someone is trying to help you do that. But they cannot know. Like the Empress cannot know. If they spy, they may be spying. Are you spying on them? You may need to have somebody to hook up somebody to spy on them to make sure that they are not present while this energy is trying to help you. Something is illegal. I mean, if you're doing something with forging signatures, there is an element of illegalness that is going on there as well. But I mean, you really, like, your concern is them finding out, period. Like, that could be your mother you're doing that with. That's a supervisor. That's someone that you're just trying to, something that's thirstily going on with you and them in terms of work. A firm that they belong in, it has something to do with criteria. So a firm that they work for, that they're in, or that they're the head of, it has something to do with their criteria or their I see. Okay, so I see, now it makes sense. Your situation, say for example, you have an organization, you have a business, something that you're doing, some aspect of it isn't legitimate because it doesn't meet some type of criteria, like a government, some type of criteria. It needs some type of criteria, and it doesn't have it. So this person is reluctant to have you sign a document for you to have it, but it has something to do with receiving funding from a specific organization or firm. If it doesn't have the status, that's why I said status. If it doesn't have it meets the criteria of status, you cannot receive the funding for it. This person is responsible for giving you the documentation to sign so it can have that. They're reluctant to give it to you for whatever reason. Like I said, somebody thinks something is for play, or they think you're playing. Someone thinks it's for play. They think you're playing. Three swords. Whatever it is. Now I understand. So they're helping you. You're like, I need this funding. You can't get the funding because you don't meet there's an area of your business or something that you're doing, it doesn't meet the right criteria, it doesn't meet the performance criteria, it doesn't meet the criteria. So it could be as easy as something being seen on social media, or something showing up on, like I said from the last reading, something showing up on a map. You're something that you're doing showing up in a map, a magazine, an online article. Like it has to meet the criteria. They're responsible for whether it meets the criteria or not, or it does meet the criteria. So as it does meet the criteria, just reluctant. I get something about like racism too. Someone may be racism related about the Empress. Or prejudice related about the Empress, Three Swords. So that's why you could be the same race as someone and be prejudiced of them, vice versa, with something that is going on. And that may be why something is happening the way it is here. Someone can be prejudiced of something that you're doing. The Prince of Disc, the day trader, is here. They may work with an Aries element, or they deal with them, talk with them, whatever it is. Prince of Disc. So that's a Taurus. You have double Taurus elements here. Virgo, Capricorn dude. Hierophant will be Taurus. But the Prince of Disc could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo guy. That's in your instincts. You're thinking about them. You're thinking about how they can help you, right? How they can help you. How they can send something off. How they can forge something for you. But I get something about like the State Department. Like the Department of State. the DOE, the department, the DOH. Oh, I see what's going on. You need DOH clearance. You need maybe something going on with DOL. You need DOH clearance. You need DOS. Is that the acronym for it? Department of State. You need some type of you need to meet some type of criteria for that. You need some type of criteria for that there. Or Department of Health. Like, there's people, like, for example, you're working with people, they may not have, that's why I said fingerprints. You or them, somebody doesn't have the fingerprints for DOH, for DOE, for whatever, Department of Education in your state, the DOH, Department of Health in your state. I don't know what's called in other states. I mean, I would deem it to be the same, called the same. I mean, I don't know. You let me know. But there's a criteria there that you're meeting it or you're not meeting it, and someone is reluctant. Are you reluctant? It just depends on what's going on. Because there's more to being reluctant about something. Like, being reluctant about something is actually for real. Like, that's a legitimate feeling. Like, being reluctant would mean that if I'm gonna have somebody working with me and they don't have this clearance and I'm trying to operate this, that, and the third, I can have investigators descend upon my stuff, descend upon my business I'm trying to run. If I'm dealing with people that they got, there's no background checks running on anybody, that's an issue. Like, that makes it really convoluted. Like, that may be something you're not realizing. I feel like they know and they understand. I feel like they're trying to walk you through that. But someone is prejudiced about them or their perspective dealing with you in this way. So they're like, I don't know about him or her. I'm not too sure about that. Okay? The accomplishment has the Prince of Wands, the journalist. So you could be dealing with a journalist. You could be dealing with someone that writes. There's always getting an idea of writing. Like on the news, they could be someone who works for like a news, online news outlet of some kind. Prince of Wands. So a younger Leo, Sag, Aries. They're right next to the Empress. Right? I get about pleasing. I'm looking at the Prince of Wands. They may please the Empress. Does the Prince of Disc please the Empress? Are you pleasing someone? They could be on the outside looking in at you and they think that you're trying to please somebody. Or the Empress, is the Empress trying to please this person? Prince of Wands. Something wrong with pleasing somebody, like pleasing them. Pleasing them in business, pleasing them, an objective, pleasing someone with an objective. You could be embodying Prince of Wands right here as a journalist. You may do a lot of writing, a lot of talking, or you portray yourself that way. So you're pleasing the Aries, Libra, to get them to be on your side. If that's you, or it's someone external. Prince of Wands. But it's an accomplishment. So you're either accomplishing, pleasing them, or you're not. The Three of Swords is right here. You're either accomplishing, pleasing them, or this element external, you could have sent them out to accomplish pleasing the Empress. Henceforth, you ended up with the Prince of Disc. Or you use both of them to get through to her. It just depends on what's going on. Spiritual self has a Six of Pleasure. So Six of Pleasure would mean someone coming back from the past. It's cups. So it will be an emotion that I get fearing. There's an emotion that you're fearing returning from the past. It's an emotion that you're fearing returning from the past. Or it's a water sign coming back to relay something to you. The Empress said, the external Prince of Wands or Prince of Disc, and I get relayed to them. So Prince of Wands, but these elements on this side, they relayed, I get Pisces, they relayed something to a Pisces. And your Three of Swords next to the Six of Cups is that you're fearing, I get rejection, you're fearing some type of rejection, whatever the Pisces is trying to share with you, or the Cancer, the Scorpio. Like, they were given information by these elements on this side. Someone was relayed That's why I said setting out people to go get something fixed or get her to understand or get her to understand and realize and operate the right way. Whatever it is, you're fearing whatever it is. The water sign energy is coming back, coming back to you with information wise. You're scared to handle. You're scared to handle it. You're nervous about what is the water sign going to tell me? What is the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio? What are they going to tell me? That Empress, Prince of Wands external, Prince of Disc energy external. What are they going to say? What do they say? Or what did they manage or did not manage to do that I want them to do for me? So that's why Three of Swords is here. Like, you're nervous about a reaction, an objective. What water sign energy is going to relate to you that was relayed to them first. But again, we need to get this done. So as I'm talking about it, we need to get this done. We need to get this done. We need to get this done. The ASAPs. ASAP Rocky. The Ten of Oppression is here. You know something? I really hate the fact that they put a black dude in jail on here. It's tragic. They are wrong for that. But the Ten of Wands is there. That's your energy. I don't know if somebody was incarcerated before and things of that nature. Someone, or you may be thinking about, I like that the picture really helps it. You may be thinking that the Prince of Dis may end up getting incarcerated, or someone that you're tied to may have once been incarcerated. Someone could be fearing that, or someone experienced that already. You did, Prince of Dis did. Somebody experienced that already. Someone experienced some type of incarceration. So the spirit emphasizing the fact that someone experienced some type of incarceration before it has something to do with what you're asking someone to do, or what someone is asking you to do. What someone is asking you to do. So henceforth, somebody's fearing some type of incarceration or potential incarceration. That's somebody over here. Something's going on with you, or water sign. The water sign energy, I feel like, that's why the Six of Cups is there. The water sign energy is trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you. They're protectors. Okay? They're relayers. They're relaying information to you about these elements here. About something, something, if you're not necessarily going and asking these people for help with something specific, they may be tied to you to some extent, and they're doing something for you on their own, and you didn't even necessarily ask them to. So that could be to a mom, an insurance company. It has to do with an insurance company. Someone with forging a signature related to an insurance company, or the need that you have with the benefits from an insurance company. Something's going on there. And someone's fearing getting incarcerated through that process. Because the reason for the foundation of it is someone around you, they're reluctant to help you. Whatever. What's changing is the sun. Success is changing, but it's still there. It's still present. Success is still present in your space. Success, you're still successful. Right? Watch out for them. You're still successful, but watch out for them. Watch out for Prince of Dis. Watch out for Prince of Wands. Like, watch out for them, meaning like you are knowingly interacting with them, or the Empress, like you're knowingly interacting with them, or you're not. Or you're not. And something's going on. And something's going on with that. Watch out for them. Watch out for success. Like you may be, and you're successful. Keep an eye on how you're successful. How you're successful, rather than like the people that you bring along with you. The people that you bring along with you and your success. They attribute the quality of the people that you're going to have around you through you becoming successful. That you need to watch out for, okay? The resolution is the Lovers, sign of Gemini, and you got Aries in the future, Sag, Leo, female in the future, Then you have Gemini here, or it's just a partnership that they may be an attorney, defense attorney, the public defender, legalities, all these legalities that you're going through. Could be divorce related, like divorce, marriage related, business partnership related, tax related, criteria related, getting some type of criteria done for some type of work, forging something, jail time, whatever it is, or somebody's jail time, something's going on there. But the lover's energy, the lover's energy will be Gemini. That's why the three of swords energy could be attached to a Gemini or a Libra. That's why I said you have air sign elements coming through there. Aquarian could be around. I don't feel an Aquarian too heavily. You could be dealing with them too, but they, there's a Gemini in the resolution going towards the Queen of Wands. You could be Queen of Wands, or as an external Queen of Wands, Aries, Sag, Leo external. Gemini is the person, could be one that you're dealing with. But it needs documents. A Gemini needs documents from you, or they need documentation from a Queen of Wands energy. The Gemini energy does. They need some type of documentation. You need documentation. Someone's going on with criteria, trying to bypass. You meet it. You may meet some type of criteria, and someone is telling you that you don't, but you won't even know that you don't, because somebody's prejudiced, or someone's mentally going on with someone with some type, like somebody has like a psychosis like tendency with being racist or prejudiced around you. That could be a possibility. You could be dealing with that. So they're delusional, and they're telling you that you don't meet some type of criteria. All right. Well, let's see what's going on. Let me do an outcome here, Leo. Alright, so King of Swords energy, that's why you had an air sign male that's there, and King of Wands is in the outcome. King of Wands could be like a Sag, King of Wands could be you, Aries male, that's in the outcome. Let me do another outcome on them. And Seven of Cups. You have options with an external King of Wands, or it's you have options, but it's with water sign. You have options with the water sign. What route should we take now? What route should we take? But I get a vendor. Like, you could be discussing with the water sign, should I go to another vendor? Like, should I look for another vendor for your funding? Like, should I look for another vendor? Should I look for another vendor? Something could be going on with a vendor, like some type of like vending opportunity. Someone's going on with a vendor, somebody that funds you or is trying to give you funding for something that you're doing. And you're like, should I go, should I look for another vendor, contractor, lawyer, whatever, public defender in the future? Should I look for a new one? I get shady. So something is shady. You're not realizing that something is shady. You don't realize, okay? But I mean, through this, I hope you may. All right, Leo, let me know how it resonates. Be well. Take care. Bye.